The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day after the market close. Tom takes your phone calls from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time using the data available at that time.
Let's go to a Bill in Boca Raton. Hey, Bill, what's going on?
Not too much. Enjoying the warm weather in Florida just like you, except on the other coast.
Perfect, man. Perfect.
Yep.
Do you listen on the internet right now?
Yes.
Cool, man. Cool.
No, I enjoy that. That's in your Tiger TV and everything. I've been watching you for years, and you've really taken this whole programming to a level that's just phenomenal.
I appreciate it.
And now, here's Tom O'Brien.
Welcome, folks. This is Tom O'Brien of TFNN. We go 5 days a week. We go 2 hours a day. We go 24 hours a day on the internet at TFNN.com. Always remember, folks, whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows. It's a TGIF Friday, folks. Let's make it a great weekend. Let's take a look at one of our 4 agreements. Ask for what you want. This is a great card, folks. Find the courage to ask for what you want. Others have the right to tell you yes or no, but you always have the right to ask. Likewise, everyone has the right to ask you for what they want, and you have the right to say yes or no. Market-wise, let's take a look at it out here. We had the Dow up 22, NASDAQ down 1, S&P's flat, gold contract flat at $1,746 an ounce. Silver up 14 cents at $35.22 an ounce. Platinum up $8 at $1,646 an ounce. Copper up 2 pennies at $3.75 a pound. Light sweet crude flat at $93.42. Bonds up 1.5 at $136.21. Dollar index up 15 ticks at 75.17. Euro down 3 ticks at 141.58. And the yen is down 17, trading out at 75.77. Our phone number is 877-927-6648. Give us a call, folks. Want to know what's going on in your world. In the world of the S&Ps, let's take a look at them. What do you have out here today? Well, we get a flat day out here today. That's expected after the heck of a day we had yesterday. So what we're going to do here, folks, I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to go through this on a weekly basis. The reason being is that you'll get a lot more out of this on the weekly. And what I'm going to start with, I'll start with the SPY. Of course, we always start with the S&P, so we'll start with the SPY. So, what do we have with the SPY? I'm going to turn around. We'll put this back to 2010. We put this on a weekly basis, and we're going to put them all on weekly so you can see exactly what you have. Okay, so, weekly basis, we'll start off at the highs first. You go back to July, of course, the highs in July, and well, the first May high was 1370, the S&P. The next high in July was 1350. What do? Okay, now, the SPY had made a high on 880 million. We're doing this on a weekly basis, okay? So we made the high on 880 million. Second high we made on 670 million. That high, we came off that high, and the first leg down was at the very end of July. The first leg down, you did 1 billion shares. That only got you to the 1270 S&P. The second leg down, which started at the 1300, coming down to the 1160, got 2.2 billion. The third leg down, which was the first low that was generated in August, which got you to 1010, had 2.8 billion. Okay, so in a matter of 4 weeks, you basically came down from the 1350 into that 1100 area. Okay, so what do? Well, the week of October 4th, you came into that area, you tested it with lighter volume. We did 1.6 billion. That was the test of the August 8th area, which was 2.8 billion. You rejected the lower price, had lighter volume. That says, okay, that leg is done. Now you're going to go basically up, and let's see what you can do on the way up. Okay, now, heck of a week, no doubt. We were in a consolidation for 9 weeks. That consolidation breaks out of the consolidation. You had a small break last week, big break in price this week. Now watch what you've done. On a weekly basis, we did 1.3 billion. The 1.3 billion is coming into the 2.2 billion. You're going to need a lot more juice to get rid of that supply line. That supply line, folks, does go all the way back to January 1st. That's the way that's set up. It's pretty neat, actually. Now, we closed over the highs of the consolidation. What that says is that 1,300 is on tap here. That's the way that's set up. You know, you can get to a higher high. If you have lighter volume, you can still want to go to the swing point. That swing point in the S&P happens to be 130.96. You see volume contract again up there. That's the end of the move. That's your S&P. Now, let's go over to the Dow Industrials. We're going to do the same deal on the Dow. We take a look at the Dow Industrials. We're going to bring that back on a weekly basis. We put this on the weekly. What you have inside the Dow is this. Dow Industrials, same type of setup. We won't have to go through the setup again. The swing point on the Dow is 12,282. We went to 12,284. Now, this gets interesting. Okay, hold it. I am going to do this then. This is wild. So check this out. This is pretty intense, actually. Okay. The beginning of the downdraft, not the beginning of it, but the biggest part of the downdraft, which was the week of August 5th, was 12,282. That number, okay? So, what you have is that we actually got over that and closed under it. That's a trip. Okay, so we'll go through this. We did that on 50% lighter volume. That's insane, folks. Now, because the S&P went over it and is over it, I suspect that 1,300 still game. The Dow, however, that says that it really actually has done what it wants to do. This is going to get intriguing. Now let's go over to the NASDAQ composite. We take a look at the composite. The composite flat market today. We bring this back to 2010 also. We'll put this on a weekly. And what the composite has done is this. The composite made its first high out there in May, which was the 2887. Came off that level and barreled down from the 2796 area. We made it this week to 2753. Now, what that sets up, that also sets up is that, you know what, that 2796 can get tagged. If we look at the three Qs, the NDX, so you can get an idea of the volume characteristic underneath it, what we're looking at is this. And remember, folks, that when I go through these, that on TFNN, on Tiger TV, this part gets separated out so you can, on demand, come back and look at this part at any time with the charts, with everything right there. Okay, so now this is where this gets really cool. The NDX 100. Now, the NDX 100, folks, leads up, leads down. The NDX 100 is also the closest to the highs. The high of the NDX 100 did not come in as the rest of the markets came in May. The high came in July, right before it got croaked. So the high in the NDX 100 is 59.83. We come off that high with 672 million shares, got down to 52. The next week, which was the low, we came down there with 839 million. This week, we went up there with 373. That's problematic in a huge way, folks. Now, what I do expect is that we closed at 58.94. So that means you closed over the high of the downdraft. That means that we will tag the 59.83 level. Okay, so now let's go over these. When we went over that, you had the NDX 100 wants to tag the high. The S&P wants to tag the high of the downdraft of the week of August 5th. Then the Dow Industrials look like they're basically done what they want to do. Once the other two do what they want to do, then I expect, we'll find out if volume doesn't come in, if they just tag them with lighter volume, then the consolidation stays in place. It's a larger consolidation from the highs to the lows. And that's saying you're going to be going back to the lower part of the consolidation. Let's go to Tom in Dallas. Hey, Tom, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Doing great. You having a good day out there?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm looking at this intriguing stock that has a 22% dividend, TRU.
TRU. Okay, so let's take a look at it. It's Torch Energy Royalty Trust. let's see. So they develop oil and gas properties in Texas, Louisiana, Alabama. The low is 150. The high is 499. Okay, so, well, I can. Now, do you own it? You looking to buy it? What are we doing here?
Looking to buy it. I wonder if we have to wait till that to come down to test that high volume day.
Okay, so let's take a look. So you have an equity that went from $8.40 down to $1.50. You come off that, and it's looking pretty good. 45,000 contracts. I can tell you this. I don't like, first off, yeah, 255 is game here. What I don't like is that when you say that, as right, I have an 18% dividend, but if it's 22% now, it's 22%. That means that they're pushing leverage into the dividend, meaning that they're borrowing money to get that dividend going. Mm-hmm. And it's just a matter of when they're going to be out of money. Let me just see something. Because companies that, you know, oh, this is interesting. This is weird. Hold on 1 second. And what I'm saying is weird, folks, is that I can't pull their financials, and that doesn't make any sense for a stock that trades on New York. Yeah, I wouldn't be buying this. You tell them to go file some financials. They might be. Listen, this is what happens. Now, those financials very well could be in there, but if they are in there, right, they're not filed correctly. When I say correctly at this point, I mean for public dissemination, and because I should be able to. This is the only financials you can't pull on a Bloomberg immediately, but I can pull them immediately as soon as I go to the different country. Is that if they're incorporated in another country, okay? But this is an incorporation in Delaware. So if you're watching Tiger TV, every time when I flip this, the financials should come up. And when the financials aren't up, that means that they're not doing their homework.
But they're still, but they can still be listed.
That's right. That's right. One has nothing to do with the other, but that's telling me that detail-wise that, you know, something's wrong here. You following me?
Uh-huh. Something's wrong, but is it only a matter of time before the stock exchange catches up with them and delists them?
No. Okay, let's walk through this. When I say something's wrong, and I understand, you know, my voice is, my speech pattern sometimes can go from one to another. When something is wrong, if a stock, first off, a stock doesn't pay 22%. Stocks that pay 22% crash, okay? And then, you know, it was just like if we pull up any of the shipping stocks, okay? When they were paying 14%, right, they're trading at $140, okay? Then what do? They went down to $3. You following me?
Yeah.
Okay, so stocks don't pay 22%. We're in a negative interest rate environment.
Right.
So the second part of that, when I says if it's not listed, that means that something's wrong. You know, I don't. That's a common sense deal. I should be able to pull it up. Have a great one. Have a safe one. We'll come right back.
X Story Gold Mines, an NYSE Amex listed company trading